Hello everyone and welcome to Koala Crafts. My name is Koala. Well, that's not my actual name, but it's what I want you to call me. Anyway, welcome to my channel. This is my first video for the channel. Well, it's technically not my first video I actually posted a compilation of like different illustrations I made. So you should go, check it out. Anyway, this is my first film video with my voice in my hands. And with these hands, I'm going to give you a tour of my Weirdo sketchbook. Now, what are the Weirdos, you'd be asking? Or you just don't care, which is fine, I guess. But the Weirdos are a series of characters that I've been working on for years. I think the first group of characters I drew was in 8th grade, and at first they were just, like fun little doodles that I made, but in my freshman year of high school, I decided, why don't I like actually try to expand and, develop these doodles? So for about, I would say like around like 1 to 2 years, I've been trying to fill the sketchbook here with like all of my all of my characters. Well, I haven't filled it up entirely, but I'm planning to. This video will be coming soon. Anyway, enough with the backstory. It's time to give you a tour of my sketchbook. Here is the cover of the sketchbook. As you can see, it is starting to, come apart a bit. The paint, from the paint marker that I use, is kind of like starting to like rub off, which clearly shows that this book has, been used a lot, it's been loved or whatever. I just love this design I made with the snake tail, with it ending in a little heart. I just think that's so clever. The snake is meant to be the mascot for the Weirdos. I don't know why I decided to make it a snake. It just, felt right. Now let's open up the sketchbook. Here is the Weirdos logo. The same snake that we saw on the cover. You know what I just realized? I haven't given the snake a name. I don't know, maybe like Eden? Like the Garden of Eden? I mean, I don't know. What do you think? But, yeah, here is the logo. I decided to make, each letter like a different font and also like a different color of the rainbow. Because I thought it looked nice, cool. Now, time to talk about my 6 main characters. My first main character is Jeff. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I haven't come up with much in-depth lore for each of my characters yet. This video is mostly me just like introducing and showing off each character, but here's Jeff the Frog. As you can clearly see, he is a frog. I think I first drew him in my civics notebook in 8th grade, or maybe I didn't. It's just the earliest drawing I could find of him. And, Jeff is just a really grumpy frog. But he has a reason to be grumpy because he has a lot of trauma. Because, what's an OC without, a bit of trauma? Oh, and, for each character, I gave them, like, their own little bio here, like, on the side. I'm not going to read every single one of their bio because I don't feel like it. But, yeah, here's their bios. If you want to read it, you can. I don't care. But yeah, here's his bio, and I also gave each and every single one of my characters their own little quote, which I will read every single one of their quotes. And Jeff's quote is, "Even though I hate life sometimes, I still try to leap through it with confidence." Frog pun, or whatever. And I actually came up with the idea to like give each of my characters quote for like an art project in my sophomore year of high school. I think the assignment was to like make cards and then like distribute each one to each of my classmates. So, for the assignment, I decided to, like, draw each of my characters, and, on the back of the cards, I decided to, give each of them their own quote. So now that's, like, kind of like a staple now for the Weirdos. They each have their own quote. But, yeah, here is Jeff. He's a grumpy frog. And, even though he may appear to be grumpy, he still has a heart, he just acts like he doesn't care, because of trauma. Now, moving on to my next character, Clyde. I don't know why. Clyde is probably my most favorite character that I have created. Like, I don't know why. I have such a soft spot for them. But yeah, Clyde is meant to be an immortal zombie rabbit. I haven't come up with a backstory yet of like why they became immortal. But I will eventually. Okay. And I think I, like, first came up with Clyde, like, one day in class. I just, like, folded up, like, a random piece of paper, and I kind of, like, teared it in half a bit to, like, create, like, little ears. and then I like drew like a little face on it, like, you know, like this dead face right here. And yeah, that's how I came up with Clyde. But Clyde was actually not like the first zombie rabbit that I drew. I like drew a zombie rabbit. I drew a zombie rabbit before, but it wasn't meant to be Clyde. It was kind of just, again, like a random zombie rabbit. And, you know, that kind of inspired Clyde, so it kind of shows how, you know, how, like, you know, your drawing kind of like evolve over the years. So, yeah. And Clyde's quote is, after living for centuries, carrots are the best part of eternity. Also, fun fact, I don't know if you guys already knew this, but rabbits shouldn't actually be eating carrots that frequently. They're only meant to be eaten as, like, you know, a sweet treat. Because, you know, like, if they eat it too much and they, like, if rabbits eat too much carrots, they could die. But, you know, with Clyde, they can eat as many carrots as they want because, you know, they're already dead. You know, they're immortal. Moving on, we have Benjamin. Okay, so I first came up with Benjamin, I don't know if you guys seen a TikTok from long ago. Oh my god, long ago. This was like 2019. I don't know if like 2019, 2020. I don't know. It's so crazy to say 2020 was so long ago. It felt like yesterday. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen the TikTok where they were like, there once was a man with no arms who was stung by a bee, so he jumped to a lake, climbed over two mountains, got shot twice, went to heaven and grew two wings. Now you have a doggy. And yeah, that's how I came up with Benjamin. I don't know if there's like stealing or whatever, but or like plagiarism or whatever, but yeah, I like adjusted its design a bit and, you know, made it cross-sided, you know, made its nose like more like oval shaped, you know, give it a body. But yeah, Benjamin is meant to be the smartest character, well, one of the smartest characters in my world. You'll see the smartest character eventually. But yeah, Benjamin is one of the smartest characters in my world, and he's only smart because he was experimented on at a very young age, unfortunately. And because of being experimented on, he has trauma. Like, he's very scared of water. He does not like water. He does not like water at all, so, like, don't bring water around him. I don't know, the thing about Benjamin's design is that, like, it sometimes, like, I don't know, confuses me, because, like, I don't know if, like, if I want him to, like, I don't know if I want his arms to, like, be, like, in the front or, like, to his side. But I feel like it's better, like, when it's off to the sides, because, like, I don't know, like, I feel like, you know, when his arms are to the sides, it looks a bit weird, because, you know, he has his ears right here, so I don't know, it looks better to the side. But I don't know, it can occasionally be to the side, like, if I, like, draw him, you know, more, like, dynamically or whatever. But, yeah, his quote is, sometimes the brightest minds can walk on 4 legs. Because, you know, smart people can walk on 4 legs. Next up, we have Maury Mouse. Yes, he is a knockoff of Mickey Mouse. That's why I created him, so he'd be a knockoff of Mickey Mouse. Now, Maury Mouse, he's actually supposed to be the emotional support mouse for Benjamin, you know, to help him through his trauma. Now, I usually depict, you know, Maury standing on Benjamin's head in most of my art of them together. Yeah, Maury is Benjamin's emotional support mouse, and even though he's Benjamin's emotional support mouse, he does have trauma of his own. They were both experimented on by the same guy. Due to the experiments, Maury's tail is able to extend, like, for as long as he wants it to. You know, it's able to extend, you know, it's able to, like, grab it around things, you know, move around, like, basically just, like, tail, elasticity? I don't know. But yeah, his quote is, I'm a small mouse with a big heart. Next up, we have Osmarius Sagittarius Aquarius. Or you can just call him Osmarius. But yeah, Osmarius, he's probably one of my second favorite characters that I've made. Because, again, I just love his design so much. And also, I love his personality. Well, no, I don't love his personality because he's not a good person, really. Like, Osmarius, he is very self-absorbed and vain. Like, he only really cares about himself, you know, his looks. He doesn't really care that much about anybody else. And also, Osmarius is royalty. He is a prince, or he is, like, a disgraced prince, because, you know, most because of his appearance, because, you know, his entire family are actually, like, kitty corns. You know, they have unicorn horns, but, you know, Osmarius' dad, you know, he decided to, you know, be with the Cyclops, and, you know, produced Osmarius, which why, you know, Osmarius is a Cyclops cat. And you would think because, you know, everybody, you know, hates his appearance, it would make Osmarius, like, more insecure about himself. But no, it only made him love himself more because, you know, the only person that was able to love him was himself. Yeah, that's sad. But yeah, his quote is, even though some days you might feel beautiful, even though some days you might feel ugly, you're still beautiful. which is true, okay? You know, you're beautiful. Everybody's beautiful. Except for people that act ugly, okay? Don't act ugly. Next up, we have Juan. Now, Juan is probably the least developed of my main 6 characters. I want to develop him more, but I guess, like, also him being not as developed as the others is kind of, like, part of his character, because the thing about Juan is that he only speaks Spanish, and the other characters, you know, they don't understand him, and they don't bother to, like, learn his language, so they don't really know much about him. He's just kind of there most of the time, you know, speaking Spanish. But even though he only speaks Spanish, the things that he say are, you know, very insightful, and, you know, they're very important, but, you know, other people just don't understand him. I'm not gonna lie, his design is meant to be inspired by Squirtle from Pokemon. I was thinking about Squirtle when I first drew him, so yeah. His quote is "Tienes que salir de tu caparazón," which translates to "You need to step outside of your shell," or at least I hope it does. I don't know. I just use a translator to figure this out. I don't speak Spanish. Okay, I nearly got a G in Spanish, but I passed, so it's whatever. Okay, now that is the last of my main 6. Now we're moving on to the side characters. Okay, so first up we have Bay, Bo, and Bob. I have not yet figured out entirely Bay, Bo, and Bob's characters yet. I don't really know what their entire purpose is, but basically just a group of bees. And like Bo is meant to be the queen bee, which is why she's the biggest. Well, but did I say Bo? Yeah, Bo. I feel like I constantly mix up her Bay and Bo constantly, because I named Bay after Beyonce. Because, you know, with her beehive, but I feel like Bo should probably be Bay, but it's whatever. But it's whatever. Okay, I just named her Bay because, like, I don't know, because they're older at their names, so it'd be confusing if she was like Bay, Bo, and then Bob. But I want it to be Bay, Bo, then Bob, But yeah, Bo is the queen bee, and she's very protective over her hive. If you hurt one of her hive members, then you'll pay for it. Oh, and their quote is just buzz, buzz, buzz. Very clever. Okay, next up we have Psychic Eye. Now, Psychic Eye is meant to be inspired by biblically accurate angels, which is what he is. He's an angel, or they don't have gender. They are an angel. I kind of want, like, all the angels in my world to be, like, inspired by human body parts, which is why, Psychic Eye is an eye. Also they're called Psychic Eye because, they're psychic, they can't talk, they don't have a mouth because, they're an eyeball, so they have to talk to people through their mind. Psychic Eye, they're very, very powerful. I like to imagine that Psychic Eye is a fallen angel, so, yeah. But I don't know why yet. Okay, I will figure that out later. The Psychic Eye's quote is, "Maybe you should keep your thoughts to yourself." No, you really should do that. Okay, next up we have Fortune the Fortune Teller. Again, another one of my designs I really like. Now, I came up with Fortune the Fortune Teller from an actual fortune teller that I made, or I don't know, cootie catcher, whatever you like to call it. I don't like cootie catcher. I hate the word cootie. I like to call it a fortune teller. But yeah, I came up with him from an actual fortune teller that I made. I was like, it would look nice if this fortune teller would look nice if it had a face on it. So I just drew a face, and a mouth on it, and I decided, why don't I like try like draw this, fortune teller, and that's what I did. That's how I came up with Fortune the Fortune Teller. And he also has the ability to, predict, any outcome for, someone's future, which is what fortune tellers usually do. Oh, and his quote is, "I can see your future, and it's going to turn out great. Maybe." Okay, next character is Rain Cat. Okay, Rain Cat is a rain god. They have the power to, make it rain, and, they can, if you disrespect them, they have the ability to, curse you to, like, make it rain everywhere that you walk, which you don't want. Trust me. Yeah, I think I just came up with Rain Cat. I think I just came up with Rain Cat because I was like, it would look cute, if the cat was in a raincoat. So, that's how I came up with Rain Cat. And eventually they developed into being a god. Their quote is, "Don't make the rain go away. Let it come back another day." Cause, like, why would you want the rain to go away? Okay, do you want Rain Cat to go away? We don't want that. Next up is a Voodoo Cat. Now, Voodoo Cat is a voodoo doll. They originally were just supposed to be, you know, like a regular old rag doll when I first drew them. Matter of fact, they weren't even meant to be a cat. Like, I don't know. I did not see them as a cat when I first draw them. I was like, when I first drew them, I don't know why. I just like, why don't I like give this thing ears? You know, that would look cute. You know, later I was like, this kind of looks like a cat. Let me make that into a cat. But yeah, this is also another design of mine that I really love. I especially love the way that I colored them in the sketchbook. They have the power to, you know, make people feel, you know, their physical pain. Oh, have you guys seen, you know, American Horror Story Coven? Like, do you know the character of Queenie? Like, she, you know, is a living voodoo doll. So she has the ability to, you know, make other people feel her pain, her physical pain, which is basically what Voodoo Cat's power is. But they can only do it to other cats. So yeah, they can make cats feel their physical pain, basically. Oh, and Voodoo Cat's quote is, even though I'm a voodoo doll, I don't want you to be in pain. They don't like causing other people pain, okay? Sorry, my child of a cat wants to come into my room. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next up we have a big purple koala. Now there's not really much to big purple koala. He's just a big purple koala. No, I'm a big purple koala. That's it. You know, that's all that he says, really. That's all his dialogue is. I'm a big purple koala. You know, what more do you want? Next up we have Asmarius Sagittarius Aquarius, who you can probably tell is related to Asmarius Sagittarius Aquarius. Now that I'm looking back at the drawing that I made of him, in the sketchbook, I do not like it. Like, I don't know, like, it looks so crooked and like scrunkly. I don't know if that's a word, scrunkly. I don't know. But I don't know. I make that worse for his character because like Asmarius is meant to be evil. Like, he's a psychopath. Like, he's absolutely evil. His quote is, if I'm able to take over the world, then so can you. Okay, we all can take over the world. Next up we have the Duck Squad. They are a group of butt-kicking ducks. Okay, I was gonna say, you know, another word, but you know, it's a bad word. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, they're a group of butt-kicking ducks. You know, they're very good fighters. Just like right here, with the white eyes, it's not meant to be a drawing mistake. Like, she's meant to be blind. You know, for inclusivity, I guess. Cause you know, blind people can also kick butt too. You know. You know, something I just realized. I don't think I have like a lot of female characters. A majority of my characters are male or non like gender conforming. So yeah, like I think she's the only female here. Yeah, she's the only female, and like the rest of the ducks are males. Oh wait, no, all the ducks are female. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. Oh my god, I don't know my own characters. I'm sorry. But yeah, but and apparently the ducks are sister, but not biologically. So yeah, my bad, guys. Yeah, no, yeah, all the ducks are female. So yeah, they're female, but no, they're females that can kick butt, because the women can also beat up people for hire. Okay, inclusivity. Yeah, their quote is quack 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 quack, which is, you know, another clever quote that I wrote. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, and that's the last of my side characters. Now we're on to the other characters in my world. These are characters that, you know, I don't really have much for them to do, but, you know, they still are important sometimes. So, let's turn the page. So first up, we have Super Hamster, who is one of the members of my superhero team, the Super Animals. Now, Super Hamster is clearly a knockoff of Superman. But I mean, if you really think about it, like a majority of superheroes with super strength and flight are knockoffs of Superman. Like, even the ones that are like, oh, you know, like that are like really evil, you know, they're basically just like Superman, but evil, you know. But you know, Super Hamster is not evil, but he's also not entirely good. Like, he's very like self-absorbed and like egotistical. You know, he only really cares about he only saves people for the attention. Like, he doesn't save people because he genuinely cares. You know, he doesn't save people because he genuinely cares. Okay, like, yeah. His quote is, "I'm so awesome, and I guess you are too. I guess you are also awesome." You know. Okay, so next member is a Speedy Snail. he is even though he's a snail, he's extremely fast, probably one of the fastest, people in my world. And he's also very smart, due to his super speed. He's a very fast thinker. Like all snails, his only weakness is salt. So yeah. And it's cool is sometimes the slowest people can be the fastest. Slow and steady wins the race. The old saying. Okay, next member of the super animals is Fraser. She is a penguin that can control ice. How clever, I guess. And her quote is, "Just like me, you are so cool." And the last member of the super animals is Robot, who was not an animal, but he still is part of the team. I like to imagine that he was built by Speedy Snail. So yeah. And his quote is, "Beep boop bop." Another clever quote by me. Oh my god, I think I nearly ripped out one of my pages. No, it's fine, it's okay. Okay, next up we have Caleb. Oh, Caleb, I feel like he was one of my very, very first Weirdoes characters. Like, I made him, well, I didn't make him, okay? I discovered him, okay? Because he was inspired by this, stuffed animal that I got when I was younger. And, I used to, draw him a whole bunch, make up stories with him in it. So, yeah, this is how I, drew him, how I represented him. It's not exactly what he looked like, but, this is how I represented him, basically. And, I had him before I came up with the Weirdoes, and, he has inspired me a lot. But yeah, when I came up with the Weirdoes, as a series, I knew I had to add him to it, okay? I couldn't forget about him, as a way to honor him. I still have him to this day, but, yeah, as a way to, honor him, I had to add him. Oh, and he's also, a Big Purple Koala's cousin, Caleb takes care of Big Purple Koala, so, yeah. And his quote is, "Keep calm and koala on." Next up, we have Doug, who is a little butterfly. Now, even though he is a cute little butterfly, he's not to be trusted, okay? He's very greedy, okay? He's, all he wants is money, okay? He's an evil businessman, basically, But I like to imagine that he speaks in, a very, monotone voice, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But, he's very, he still is, very evil and, very greedy, Don't trust him. But his quote is, "People say that money is the root of all evil. I love following the roots." Wahahaha. Okay, next up is Peg-Eye Pete. Okay, now Peg-Eye Pete was just, a random cat that I drew in one of my sketchbooks. Now, I wasn't really thinking about, doing much with him, really, but I just, really, really love his design. Seriously, a pirate cat? Yeah, that is, so cute and, so clever. And, yes, I know, I have, so many cat characters. It's, generally absurd. I don't know, there's something about cats. I don't know, they're just, so fun to, insert into random situations and, to, draw them, in weird ways. I don't know, I just love cats. And his quote is, "I don't fear the sea fears me." Whatever, arg. Sorry. I'm so bad at accents, I cannot do a pirate voice. Next up we have Shady Sparkle, Sagittarius Aquarius, who is related to, he's the father of Osmarius and Asmarius Sagittarius Aquarius. Now, Shady Sparkle is not a real name. I'm not gonna lie, I have not come up with a real name for him yet. But yeah, Shady Sparkle is just his real name because he's very shady, okay? It's very shady. And originally he was not meant to be Osmarius and Asmarius' father, but again he was just a random doodle that I made, and I decided to why don't I make him the father to Osmarius and Asmarius? That would be fun, because he's a little kitty corn. Oh, and he is king. Shady Sparkle is the king of the corns, which is a race of animals with unicorn horns. Basically, they're basically upper class society. So yeah, he's the king of the corns. And his quote is, "The two best things in the world are gossip and food." Okay, next up is Lucifer Morning Paws. That's such a clever name. But yeah, Lucifer Morning Paws is a demon. He is the prince of hell. His father is the devil, which I know probably goes against whatever, Bible lore or whatever, but I don't really care that much about Bible lore. I'm not trying to be Bible accurate or whatever. But yeah, Lucifer Morning Paws is a demon. His quote is, "I am the king of hell. Well, until Dad notices, so yeah. And also, like, funnily enough, I don't know why, I feel like, I know, Shady Sparkle and Slipper Morning Paws has some sort of, like, fling. Like, I don't know. The thing about, I feel like Shady Sparkle, he just kind of, like, gets around a lot. Yeah, that's all. Um, anyway, moving on. We have Sir Pierre Eisenhower, who is the advisor to Lucifer, the Prince of Hell. And he's also a demon. And I actually came up with Lucifer Morning Paws for, again, another art project. I feel like majority of my characters I came up with from art projects. But yeah, we have Sir Pierre Eisenhower, and the project was like to create an imaginary friend, and so I decided to combine a bunch of animals that I like together, which seems to be a combination of a cat, koala, and a frog, basically. And and because of that, like, I think it inspired me to like make themes in my world, be different like mashups, like be different like hybrids, like different animals. So yeah. What's something I forgot to give him? I just realized I forgot to give him a tail. Oh my god, I forgot his tail. Maybe I'll add that like later. Oh my god, I can't believe I never know. I forgot to give him a tail. He has a tail. Like in the original sketch I made of him, I don't know, he didn't originally have like a top hat and like a scarf. I kind of like gave it to him like after I made him into like plush form, because I thought like he looked very plain, so I was like, I need to add more to him, make him look more fancy. So yeah, so he's like a very fancy person. He likes to hang around upper class people, no poor people, and he will judge you on your fashion taste also. His quote is, a gentleman never loses his composure or his hat. But yeah, next up is O'Hare, who is actually the father to Clyde. Now the thing about O'Hare is that he is very crazy. He's very hyperactive. He's actually in a cryostasis for hundreds of years. Even though his child is immortal, he was able to see him again hundreds of years later due to being in a cryo chamber, which only made him crazier. Like, he already was pretty crazy, but he just became crazier after being in that cryo chamber for hundreds of years. So yeah. His quote is, people think hundreds of years of sleep would ruin your brain. Clearly they don't know me. Yeah, they don't know you, and I don't think they want to know you. Okay, next up we have Jerome Giraffe, and Jerome, actually, I think I forgot to mention, Caleb actually works for Doug. Yeah, Caleb works for Doug. Caleb is not a good person. He's never been a good person, really. But yeah, same with Jerome. He's not a good person either. He works for Doug. And Jerome was actually a character that I made for someone else. It was for my god sister. I'm almost like, why don't you like create, like a Weirdoes character, for your god sister, I think, was it for her birthday, I think? Yeah, I think it was for her birthday. So yeah, I made her like a little card, like a little Weirdoes card, for her birthday. And she wanted me to make a giraffe for her, so yeah, here's how Jerome Giraffe came to be. And the thing about him is that he's very insecure about his neck, okay? Because, he has a short neck, and, I don't know if you know the animal giraffe, but giraffes have pretty like long necks, so yeah. I mean, his quote is, yes, I know I have a small neck, leave me alone. Okay, my next character is Foxina Fox and Foxer, which is also another character that I made for someone else. I made her for my mommy. Okay, it was for, yeah, like, was it for Mother's Day or for birthday? Yeah, no, I think it was for birthday. Yeah, for her birthday, I think. And I also made her like a little Weirdoes card, and yeah, she wanted me to make her a fox, so that's how I came with Foxina Fox and Boxer. And she also works for Doug. Yeah, her, Caleb, and Jerome work for Doug. Yeah, they're not good people. But yeah, her quote is, flowers are beautiful, and so are you. Okay, next up is Benny Ball. Now, this is the guy that experimented on Benjamin and Maury. I just realized, like, Benny Ball Benjamin, that's very similar. That was not intentional at all. Oh my god. But yeah, I just love, it's like logo, it's like character logo. It's probably my favorite because, I don't know, I just like love the way, I did the balls, Yeah. But yeah, he's the smartest character in my world. Okay, he's a mad scientist. He's done very heinous experiments on, different people and different animals. So yeah, he's not to be trusted. And his quote is, you should be smart enough to know that I am one of the smartest men in the world. Yeah, because he is, but he also one of the most, awful men in the world. Yeah. Okay, next up is the all-knowing fish. Now, they are a god. Yeah. They know everything. They're not, the god, but they are a god. Just to clarify if you thought. But yeah, they know everything about everyone and everything, okay? And, I don't know, I just came with the all-knowing fish because, again, for an art project, I needed to create a sketchbook page, and, I just drew, a bunch of, like, I just drew a random pattern, and then I just added a fish to it. So, yeah, and I just, I'm trying to, like, figure out, like, what characters I wanted to use, for my Weirdoes world. I just decided to, like, why don't I, like, try to do something with this fish? So, that's how the all-knowing fish came to be. And their quote is, "Your fate is only guaranteed if you keep paying attention to it." I don't know what that means. Next up is the Kraken. No, I'm not gonna lie, there's not really much the Kraken that I came up with. They're Kraken. They're very protective over the sea, and they just don't want to be bothered. They don't like pollution. Okay, they don't like when creatures disturb them. Okay, and like the quote is, "I don't mind being in the ocean. Just leave myself alone. Okay, just leave him alone and don't pollute the ocean. Okay, don't be throwing your trash in the ocean. Understand that?" Next up, we have Bran and Bun. This is Bran, that's Bun. Yeah, and they are the siblings to Clyde. Yeah, they were also in the cryostasis with their father. They did not turn out as crazy as he did, but, they still, were a bit in the head, but whatever. They're very mischievous. Okay, that's what they are. They're very mischievous. But yeah, their quote is 1 + 1 = double the trouble. Next up is Owen the Owl. And just like Clyde, he's also immortal. Again, I don't know how he became immortal. I need to figure that out. Their immortality story. But he is very observant. He's constantly watching, and he's trying to figure out. He likes to discover other people's secrets and use that as a way to blackmail them. Cause like, I don't know. The thing about owls, they're like very mysterious. Okay, I mean they're able to fly without making a sound. So, yeah. This quote is, "Sometimes the best kept secrets are told at night." Okay, next up we have, oh my god, Serena. I'm not gonna lie, Serena is probably one of my least favorite designs for the Weirdoes. Like, I don't know, I figured out how to make fairies, and mermaids in my own style, but I have not figured out how to make Cyclops in my own style. Like, I don't know, I just hate her body, because like, when I first drew Serena, she was just a random Cyclops girl, okay? Like, she was just a head. I didn't give her a body. But, I was like, why don't I make her, like, the mother to Osmary to explain why he's a Cyclops, So, yeah, here is Serena. So, yeah, that's how I came up with, with Serena. And, yeah, this is how I drew her, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. This is just gonna have to do for now, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's the mother to Osmarius. Not to Asmarius, okay? Asmarius' mother is, a random woman. She's not necessary. Well, no, Asmarius' mother is the queen, basically, but she's not important, though. But yeah, like, she Sparkle had a fling with Serena, and that produced Osmarius. And, yeah, family drama and stuff. And our quote is, "There are things worth protecting, even in a world filled with violence." Like, Serena, she hates violence, okay? Like, Cyclops don't like violence, even though they're big, scary creatures. Okay, and next up we have Mama Sun. Mama Sun is a sun god, okay? Like, she is literally the sun. That's all, really. And quote is, "I'm a sunshine, and you can be one too." Okay, and last, but certainly not least, we have Mother Moon. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Mother Moon was originally called Father Moon. I don't know. But then I was like, I don't know. I'm not really digging Father Moon. I don't know. I feel like the moon is a woman. Because, Artemis, she's the goddess of the moon, and, the protector of women, I think. Yeah. But, Mama Sun and Mother Moon are a couple, they're lesbians. Yay! Lesbians. Mother Moon's quote is, "Even in darkness, I bring the light." Which is true, the moon does bring light. We need the moon. Okay, and that's it for my other characters. Now we have random characters. They're just random characters that I made. They don't really have much importance at all. So first up, we have probably one of my favorite of the random characters, the gnome. Now, again, I drew gnome for an art project. Okay, it was like, I need to make like a wanted post. I just like drew a sketch of a wanted poster. So I decided, like, why not, like, draw, a gnome. that is wanted. Okay, so this gnome is not to be trusted. Okay, like he has done very unspeakable things, done a bunch of heinous crimes. Okay, like do not trust him. Oh, and also for the random characters, I didn't bother taking the bios, or like, you know, I didn't bother giving them, you know, their own card, like their own bios, because like, I don't know, there's not really much to them, like at all. So yeah, but like this gnome here, like he's absolutely heinous. He's done unspeakable crimes, and like he's wanted for like $1 trillion. Okay. Moving on, we have Wimbledon. Okay, now Wimbledon was part of a series that I did. I don't know if you saw it, but we should have, because I posted it on my TikTok, my Instagram, and also on YouTube Shorts. Okay, so you know, go check it out if you want. But yeah, he was part of a series that I made where I like saw where I found hair strands on my school bathroom floor, and I decided to, like, you know, I took pictures of them and I decided to make them into, you know, little illustration, like into characters. So I came up with Wimbledon. He's, you know, inspired by a hair strand that I saw. Okay, same with Dave here. He was also inspired by a hair strand that I saw. Okay, he's meant to be a depressed dog. Okay, he's very depressed. And also his name wasn't originally Dave. It was Boris, but there was another character that I accidentally named, that I also accidentally named Boris. Like, even though he was named Boris first, I wanted to keep that other character named Boris because he was part of the group. Okay, that also were similarly named. That had similar names to each other. So I just changed his Dave. Okay, because he looks like a Dave as well as a Boris. Okay, you could be both a Dave and a Boris. Okay. Next up we have Ellie, again, also part of the hair strand series. Ellie, she's meant to be, you know, an elephant with a big red nose. Ellie, the red-nosed elephant, had a very shiny nose. I don't know why, she kind of reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss character. I feel like I was inspired by Dr. Seuss. Yeah. Next up is Germ. He wasn't inspired by a character. He was inspired by like this like thing that I saw like in my bio class. So yeah, he's meant to be a germ. Yeah, he's just a germ. Okay, next up is Purple Thing, and yes, I know that it looks like William Afton. I accidentally drew William Afton. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have Purple Thing. Oh my god, I posted like a video on my Instagram where it's like, oh, I accidentally drew William Afton. I'm sorry, guys. And someone commented, William Chudton. Oh my god. I feel like it's not his name. That's his name now. Purple Thing is just a nickname. Like, his real name is William Chudton, okay? To avoid, you know, copyright. Okay, next up is Petri, also part of the Hair Strand series. He's meant to be a petrified bird. He's scared of everything. He was absolutely traumatized by everything. Okay. Next up is Boobles the Clown. Not inspired by a hair strand, but inspired by a water splash that I saw on my school's bathroom floor. And yeah, I thought it looked like a clown, so, you know, he's a clown. I feel like Boobles is probably one of my few human, not humans. I don't see him as human, but clowns aren't human, guys. You heard it here, folks. But he's one of my few humanoid characters, more human-looking characters, I would say. Okay, next up we have Mort the Confidence Booster. Again, Mort was made for an art project. Is for a power object, and my power object was focused on, you know, like try not to overthink, because I tend to like overthink things a lot. So like Mort is supposed to help with like not overthinking. So that's why his design is so crazy, because I wasn't overthinking, you know, when I made it. Yeah. And you know, he helps boost your confidence. Okay, next up is Bonsai, which is just like a random sketch that I made. He's not really that important. Okay, like he's just there. Because like I said, I'm trying my best to fill up this entire book. So I just been like kind of like grabbing like random like sketches that I made and like trying to like turn them into characters. Yeah. Okay, so this is Bonsai. Next up we have Ichabod, another random sketch that I made. Now originally I was planning on naming him like Ichabod after like, you know, Ichabod Crane from, you know, Sleepy Hollow, but I thought that Ichabod's name was Ekabob. So that's why his name is Ichabod. So like I'll just stick with Ichabod. You know, that's cute. Next up is Boris. Exactly. This is the character that I accidentally also named Boris, but I had to keep his name Boris. You know why? Because we also have Norris. Okay, Norris. And then next up we have Joris. You know, the group of the wide-eyed animals. Okay, next up we have Fred, who is a bear. Yeah, Fred. And then we have Noah, a little koala guy. And then Kripke. Kripke, she's not a Kraken like, you know, the Kraken character, but, you know, she's just a regular old octopus, basically. Oh, and also, just so you know, from Bonsai to Kripke, they're all in a cult. Yeah, they're all in a cult. I'm not gonna elaborate further. I'm not gonna elaborate further, okay? Okay, the next up we have the Messenger. Now, the Messenger, he came from this, like, Drawtober challenge that I did. I think the prompt was candlelit messenger, so I just, like, drew a squirrel holding a candle. I know, originally, like, I just drew him with pen. I didn't give him any color, but, you know, now I finally give him color. So, yeah. Okay, next up, we have another Drawtober drawing, astrology frog. The prompt was literally astrology frog. So, yeah, here's a frog. He's a god, just so you know. And, you know, he controls all astrology, I guess. I don't know. I need to figure that out. Okay, next up is Frog Princess. And I think the prompt was Enchanted Princess. So a better way to represent an enchanted princess is, you know, a frog princess. You know, she used to be a beautiful princess. Now she's a frog, sadly. Yeah. Okay, this is another Drawtober drawing. This is Grumpus, the troll. The prompt was Toll Troll. So he's just a troll, you know, who wants money. You know, he's counting his coins. If you want to cross the bridge, you need to pay the toll. Okay, and my last Drawtober drawing that I added to Weirdoes is Periwinkle. I think I spelled Periwinkle wrong, but it's whatever. Who cares? But yeah, the prompt was Enchanted mask, so I just drew a flower with a mask. Because, you know, her face is just so ugly. She needs to cover it up with a mask. And then next up we have Flurry, which was also part of my Hair Strand series. Originally, I was not planning on adding her to the Weirdoes because, I don't know, like, her design, you know, she just felt very basic to me. Like, I had, like, nothing for her. I had no idea what to do with her. But, you know, I just decided to add her because, like I said, I want to fill up this sketchbook. So, you know, I just added her. So this is Flurry. Because, you know, in her original drawing, she was standing in snow. So, yeah. Okay, next we have Emmy and Meek, who I also was not planning on adding to this book, but again, I need to fill up. So here's Emmy and Meek. They love to kiss each other. I don't know what creatures they are yet, but, you know, again, they're from my Hair Strand series. They're actually the first characters that I created for my Hair Strand series. You know, they're two little creatures kissing. Yeah. Next up we have Ooh and Ah, two little alien creatures I made, and they actually came from, like, this, I don't know what it was called, but this thing that I saw at my school, and it looked like there were, like, two little alien creatures inside of there. So, you know, yeah, that's how Ooh and Ah came to be. And again, I also wasn't planning on adding them to the sketchbook, but now I have. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Ophelia, who is a little ghost. Yeah, she's a little ghost. And I actually came up with her name because, you know, for the TikTok that I made for her, this was part of my Hair Strand series also. And I used a Taylor Swift song on there, The Fate of Ophelia, and that's how I came up with her name. Like, you know, I should name her Ophelia, because I guess she probably died in the same way as, you know, the character Ophelia. Yeah. And that's about it. I still have a bunch of sketchbook pages left to fill. I will make that into another video, okay? So stay tuned for that. And yeah. That is it for my Weirdo sketchbook. I've been wanting to, like, share this with people for, like, a long time now, and, you know, I finally did it. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to follow me on my TikTok, Instagram, and also Tumblr, okay, for more, you know, koala crafts content. And yeah, I hope you have a koala-tastic day, and goodbye.